Hey everyone, in this video we're actually going to be looking at just simple interest first. So it's just a recap because that is something that you've done hopefully in previous years. So recalling the simple interest on a formula to solve problems. So that's what we're looking for in this video. So borrowing money or making an investment, it gains interest or gains interest regardless of which way you go. And that interest can either be paid back because of the loan, because it's like a servicing fee, or it's a reward because you've been trying to invest your money. So some basic words you need to be looking for, because a lot of the times these questions are worded problems, so you want to be looking for things that kind of give you clues in terms of the language that is being used, and so you can identify the variables, because if you don't put the variables in the right places or adjust them accordingly, you're going to get an incorrect answer. So principal, so that's like the initial amount or the current value of something. So it's like, it originally this value started as this, or you might have things like, they started off with this much amount of money, or the initial investment of. So all those kind of language cues tell us it's a principal. So for the length of a loan is the term. Now this is time, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a year. It could be like months, days, fortnights, quarters, and so forth. We'll talk more about that in other videos. Interest. So the amount that is increased by is the interest added to it. So generally that's what we're looking for, and the rate or the interest rate is what's been charged per unit of time to the principal. So that's how banks make their money. Your simple interest formula is I equals PRT, so I meaning the interest generated, R is the little one, or T, which is your time. Now, I'm going to, this one here, you do not need to convert. I'll explain this a bit more when we do an example. You do not need to convert to a decimal, whereas this one here, you definitely need to convert it to a decimal. Otherwise, you're going to get some really wonderfully funky large answers. So when you're doing this though, remember that you are getting the interest generated. So if you're looking for the total amount at the end of a time, like if you're paying back a loan, it might be, it's asking you, so how much do you have to pay back after you've had the loan? It's the principal adding to the interest to give you the total amount for the length of the loan or the investment period. As always, trying to give you a heads up of what we can. This is the QCAA general maths formula sheet. So for what we're doing in year 10, this is all that you need to know from the finance section, and you can see that they use I equals PIN, and that helps later on when we do compound interest. So watch out in a future video. So calculating simple interest, I'm going to do an example here. So what we have is, you need to work out your variables, PIN, check your units of time, that's kind of important as well, and then substitute and solve your equation. So reading our question here, or our problem, Brittany finds a dress online for $250, isn't paid for another month, organises a loan, interest rate per annum, planning on paying it back in 3 months, calculate how much she'll pay. So there you go, calculate the interest she will pay. So we're not looking for the amount that she's paying back. The finds a dress online but isn't paid. So we know that that's our $250 is our principal. We have, so I'm just going to call that a P. Organize a loan with the interest rate. So that gives us our clue. This is going to be our little I. We're calculating big I, and loan in 3 months. So looking for units of time would help. And this is your N. So with that important information, what I like to do when I'm doing these questions, because sometimes you might actually end up with a different variable that you need to look for. So what we can do, I'm just trying to keep myself all on the one page, is you write out your variable list. So you know that your formula is I equals PIN, so big I. And I'm going to just write out I, PIN here. This is what I'm looking for. I know that this is $250. I is 4% per annum. Now I'm going to do my conversion. So to convert a percent to a decimal, you multiply it, divide it by 100. When you divide, you're making it smaller. So to the left, 1, 2, and 0.04. My N is 3 months. Now be careful here, it's not going to be. Per annum means per year. This is 3 months. So 3 months is 3 out of 12 months, because that's how many months are in 1 year. And that means this is 0.25. So be really careful with your interest rate. So now I substitute my values in. I equals principal 250 times my decimal interest rate, 0.04, multiplied by the time interval, or the length of my loan, is 2.5. And I is going to equal $2.50. And that makes sense. It's a very small amount, small loan, small interest rate, small length of time. So the amount of interest you will pay is going to be $2.50. Right, so what you're going to do is you're going to pause the video, open up your exercise book if you haven't done so already, label your things, and you're going to complete these questions in your book that can be checked for homework. Alternatively, jump online here, Maths Online, look up in the search bar 5058, and you can complete the questions using Maths Online. All right, stay awesome, everyone. Thanks.